So we have Miss Breanna Micciolo, and when I tell you she is going, so we got Miss Breanna Micciolo, and when I tell you at this point she's just going on a victory lap. She did an interview on Guilty of Crime, and she really went through the details of how things were around Chris, how things were with Chris, and it was pretty insightful. Now she's over here talking to the Cuomo family on News Nation, and we pretty much get more from her, mainly on how they feel about how CPS handled the whole situation. I've been preaching forever that CPS is honestly the worst thing that could have happened to Corey in this situation. And she's going to go ahead and elaborate on that. So let's go ahead and check this out. Grab the things y'all need because this is another good interview from Miss Breanna Micciolo. Let's check this thing out.
Corey's mother, Breanna, joins us now. Breanna, thank you very much. I'm very sorry for what happened with your son. I'm sorry with what you've had to live through, but I hope you understand that people know that you did what you could.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's hard hearing people say negative things about me, but I really feel like I did absolutely everything I could. DCP&P, they are definitely the ones that failed Corey.
You believe that they had every reason to know that this was going on?
Absolutely. So the video that everyone's seen, the treadmill video, that it's disgusting, it's horrible. DCP&P had that a week before Corey passed away in March 2021, a week before he passed. And they
They
still did
saw
not.
this that we're showing right now, all due respect. I hope it doesn't bother you too much, but I know that you want people to know the reality here. They had
Yes.
seen this.
Yes.
And they did not go to the house. They didn't do anything.
So I think they went to his house and documented his bruises, and that's as far as it went. And
I mean, I kept it playing so that I could pass. What? You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm telling you. Overwork my ass, bro. My booty. Overworked. These people just don't give a fuck. And this is why they don't give a fuck. They're lazy. Now, that's not every worker. Shout out all my CPS workers who actually give a shit. But when I tell you the laziness comes from the paperwork, I'm so sure that's what it is, bro. They don't want to go through it. The bigger the case, I feel like the more paperwork. And they're already overworked, right? Okay, cool. So we see this. Let's just backlog it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go and do our visits, which is probably the only thing I've seen them do in cases. They always come out and they always do a welfare check. That's the one thing you can guarantee out of CPS. So what do? 70% of the time they come through, it's a shitty environment. The kid's clearly getting beat up. Once again, go back to Harmony Montgomery. Go back to Corey Micciolo. They come through, they take a few pictures, they say, oh, boo-hoo, and then they leave. But this one in particular is super telling, bro, because, I mean, come on. We're not even, we've seen this video. This happened this week. This fucking psychopath is chewing into his son's head. This shit's disturbing. It looks like some, you know what I'm saying? It looks like some horror movie shit. But nah. You know what I'm saying? But nah, we're going to take some pictures and then go. Yeah, that's our system, folks. That's your government for you.
And that's when they sent me to the different hospitals. And before they could do anything, this happened.
And what did they explain to you about what was happening and what the process was at that time, and explaining why they couldn't act?
Well, one excuse I got was that it was Good Friday. The day Corey passed was Good Friday, and it was a holiday, and there weren't a lot of people there. That's one of the excuses. And, he had
lazy. Good Friday. So again, this is why it needs to be on some federal level. Good Friday, so what? We're just not working? So all the kids who get fucking killed on Good Friday, oh well. Shouldn't have been on Good Friday, young fella. That's essentially what they're telling us. Oh, well, you shouldn't have died on Good Friday, little guy. Shoot. Yeah, shit like this. This is the shit that, and it's like the only thing that's gonna make this change is if it really becomes a problem for the parents. Like parents need to come out and support parents, and it needs to become one of those. I don't know what we can boycott. I don't know what we can make the. It has to be something that's gonna hurt the state, bro, or the country. Like in terms of the higher ups. Like it's gotta be something to where they're like, ooh, maybe we should change this because they're boycotting. So I don't know what it is yet, but something really could happen to change this around, and it'll be remembered as the time that remember that time when kids used to just get beat up and they wouldn't even get checked up on because it's Good Friday. Like what the anyways, continuing.
To see the child abuse expert, and Chris wouldn't take Corey to it. So I feel like he should have seen that expert the night we were at the hospital. The DCP&P, the caseworker, should have been at the hospital with us.
Tell us about Corey's father. What kind of man was he? How much of this is a surprise to you?
He is the worst, most vile human being I've ever encountered. He's always been a horrible person. There's not been a time where I thought he was a good person. And no, I'm not surprised. I was telling DCP&P that he was going to end up doing this if they left him in his care.
What was it about for this guy? Did he think it was discipline? Like this is how he was making his son a man? Or like, what was this about for him when you would talk to him about it?
So he never admitted it to me, like ever. But my theory, I think his father being a state trooper, I think he was very hard on him himself. Maybe he made him work out, and I think Chris just took it too far, and he took his trauma and put it on Corey. I think that's what happened. And then add that to the hatred he has for me, and this is what happened.
Was he sick? Did he have substance abuse issues? Is there anything that could
See, when he says that he have substance abuse issues, I feel like that's everybody asking, did he do steroids? Did he have a little roid rage in him? But I mean, I think we're just giving him a cop out with that roid rage theory. I think he might have just been a fucking asshole. And that's why I've been saying, I've been preaching this. What his dad wasn't gonna kill him as a child because his dad probably had certain boundaries, but he was a tough ass regimen leading household head of the household. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see his dad as. Very patriarchal, almost maybe to the borderline of abuse, maybe abusive, but never to the point where, oh, I'm gonna hit you so hard to where your heart fucking explodes. I don't think his dad would have taken it that far. So it goes down the line. And then Chris comes out with fucking anger issues, probably because of family problems. And now he does the same thing, but on a higher degree. The thing is, his family could have not stopped him, but they could have prevented this whole thing in general. Because you could tell he listens to his family. And he still is scared of his dad, probably. His dad could talked him straight. I'm sure he could have did something like, oh, you're beating your kid now? That's what we're doing? Like his dad literally should have turned him in. Let him take some time. What is he going to do? 6 months? then you're not going to go to jail for long doing stuff to kids. We know this. So what he's going to do like 6 months? Maybe that would have shook the sense into him. But no, they're scared of their family name. Everybody has degrees. Or your other son's a fighter jet pilot. Everybody has a master's degrees and shit. You can't have that, right? So just sweep it under the rug, and then he kills his son. Now you can't sweep shit under the rug at this point.
Could explain biting your own kid's head, that this is just not him in control of himself?
I think he's just a psychopath, and maybe I know he's done drugs before. Maybe he was getting worse. I don't know, but once he moved out of his parents' house is when it got really bad.
What has been the hardest part for you in processing all of this emotionally with your son?
Just the hardest part is that it could have been prevented. It shouldn't have happened. Chris is horrible, but DCP&P also has a hand in this because Corey would still be alive if they stepped in and intervened when they saw that video. So the hardest part is just processing that my son should still be here.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, I currently have an ongoing lawsuit with DCPMP, and I don't know what the outcome of that will be, but I also have contacted my governor of New Jersey, and I'm asking to meet with him, so maybe we can go over like what we can change, what can we do to fix DCPMP.
So for what you guys were thinking, yes, she is gonna sue them. She needs to. You know what I'm saying? And again, they saw the video, didn't do anything about it. It's crazy. It's unacceptable. That type of shit is unacceptable. And the person, all the people involved, they need to be investigated.
And maybe even create Corey's law. I don't know exactly what it'll say, but that's my next step.
Well, you had a beautiful son, and it looked like he
Thank
had a
you.
lot of love in his life. And I know it was too short, but it looks like you did your best for him. And that's all you can control. And I'm so sorry. We're a call away, and we're not going to leave it alone. I promise you that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, God bless you. I wish you strength in this, and I wish the best to your family.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be in touch.
All right, so that was her interview with him. Like she said, the bigger media do very short interviews, which is kind of interesting. Kind of interesting that she pointed that out. But yeah, I also want to carry over to the defense of Mr. Greger. I mean, it's scumbag activity from left to right. So, as you may know, I publicly said he probably has women problems, and guess what? Dun dun dun. Guess what I found? Mario Galucci versus Tani M. Galucci. Yes, he got a divorce from his wife. I'm just going to read a little part of it. It says plaintiff Mario Galucci and defendant Tani Galucci were married on April 20th, 1991. 2 children were born of the marriage, which ultimately terminated on January 17th, 2003. Upon the entry of the final judgment of divorce. So yeah, they got divorced. And it just kind of is telling, shit representing shit, honestly. And I mean, I typically like defense attorneys. They're pretty cool. I think they do a really good job for most things. But this guy, listen, first of all, he defends horrible people. Like terrible people. I was going through some of his trial stuff. I mean, these people are honestly dirt, and I guess somebody has to do it, but it's the way he does it also. It's almost like he really genuinely wants to get bad people off, which is just odd to me. Like creating a career path, just getting horrible people off. That's different from being the defense attorney who actually who fights for things to where it's like, I don't know how you say it, to where it's like it has to be done. It's a noble thing. Or maybe you fight for people who you truly believe need to be defended and everybody thinks they're wrong. That's a noble job. But Mario, which is how I think they say it, not Mario, Mario Galucci seems to just want to be friends with all the criminals, want to be buddy. Like, yeah, bro, you could come to the cookout after you get me off of this murder trial. It's kind of weird. But anyway, the scum doesn't really stop there. Now, see, this doesn't pop up anywhere. You really have to look for this. This is a channel called New Jersey 101.5. New Jersey, that's the key of this. Now, you don't really find this on YouTube, really. You don't find this really online. But apparently, Mario Galucci's son was connected to a R-word scandal. Now, they started off with a high number of years and slowly got numbers dwindled down. But from the time you're charged with something like this, I mean, the whole world will look at you like, hold on now. So it says no prison in New Jersey group sex case. Victim faces monster and their supporters in court. No prison for New Jersey group sex case. Now, I'm going to take you through some pictures real fast and show you some pictures and tell me if you see some resemblance. We have Richard Gaffey. Does that look like Mario? Maybe not. We have Ronald W. Hondo. Does that look like Mario? Maybe. Maybe not. too chiseled of a jaw, too handsome. You know what I'm saying? Too handsome. Both these gentlemen, a bit too handsome. And then we have Andrew J. Gallucci. Does that look like Mario? I think that looks like Mario. Puffy ass fucking cheeks, nothing but mischievousness and just ugly. Just a. Listen, I think it was his idea. Let me stop. Um, did he do it? Look at him. He probably did it. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna look at this picture and be like, yeah, he probably did it. That looks just, man. When I tell you, like father, like son. Now this doesn't really pop up anywhere, but this kind of shows you who's representing who. You know what I'm saying? This is Mario's son on a sex charge. Weird, bro. No, listen, if that was on my name, that would be a problem. We would have to figure that out. Either we're getting to the bottom of it, or I would advocate for him to go to prison because there's no excuse. This is nasty behavior. But it kind of leads back to Mario Gallucci, to what was acceptable in the household, maybe, or just how he talked about women, treated women. You know, he's divorced from his wife. I just want to point this out. So apparently the victim accuses all three of them of gang her. Now, when it got down to trial, a lot of little things happened. And I mean, it's really interesting to see how this didn't really hit big news. Let me read some of it. The men met a woman at a Memphis bar and brought her back to Gallucci's home in Marlboro on April 2nd. So, Gallucci. See? What did I say? I feel like he did it, right? Or it was his idea. Anyways, they take her back to Gallucci's home on April 2nd, 2022, authorities said. They engaged in sexual intercourse, although whether it was consensual or coerced remains in dispute. After the encounter, the women went to the police. The Mammoth County Prosecutor's Office charged the men that month with aggravated sexual assault, and criminal restraint. Under those charges, they would face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. But most of the charges were dropped as part of a plea agreement. We move on a little bit. It says one of the attorneys for Gathy said that the sex was 100% consensual. But the craziest part about this entire thing was the outcome. This woman literally said all three of them R-worded her against her will. She talks in court. She gives her big long statement how she thought about offing herself. You know what I'm saying? Dark times, trauma that never goes away. So anyway, she says all of this, and this is the sentence they get. Let's read it. O'Malley sentenced each man to 5 years probation, including substance use evaluation, a victim's empathy course, and a mental health evaluation. She cited that Gathy and Hondo's 2019 summonses for public urination in her decision for substance use evaluation. They face no further time behind bars on top of the 9-month in Mammoth County Jail that they had spent remanded in custody. Crazy. And this is why Mario Gallucci feels like he can do anything, because I feel like he had something to do with this. But anyways, long story short, I'm just saying that this family has seen very negative things and they've overcome it, which is crazy. So if you ever see Mario Gallucci representing somebody, you better beware, because, hey, he might get them off, which is insane. Scumbag of a family, in my opinion. You guys hit me in the comments and let me know what you think. Shout out Breanna Micciolo one more time for being strong, for putting the truth out there, man, because, listen, this stuff is happening all over the country. Nothing's really going to change unless this stuff gets exposed. So, I mean, that's just part of it, too. We need a whole change in the system. But anyways, people, I love you guys. Stay inside, stay safe. Thank you for always tuning in and being the shit, y'all. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm out of here.